That is awesome. Okay, so today we'll jump on a topic that I think is equally very important. And for most of us, you might have heard of, okay, we've talked about cybersecurity. So, as always in our tradition, we always like to start with the story, the journey so far. So, we started this journey a few days ago. Believe it or not, you are barely 2 weeks into this whole thing. So, I challenge you. Sometimes it's not, don't be overly crazy hard on yourself. Just keep pushing, keep going through it. It eventually clicks, okay? So let's start with the first one. We started with foundation of cybersecurity. We went into what are the basic key things in cyber. And I mentioned specifically that, look, a lot of us are part of IT already. The only difference is that we are just going to scale it into enterprise or big organization. That's really what it is, really. Because think about it, in your home network today, we talk about it. Okay, how do you protect yourself? A lot of you told me multi-factor authentication, creating guest ID, having, changing your password to be complex, segmenting your network, having backup. So you guys already told me what you would do in your own local situation. I also asked you, what are some example of preventive control, detective control, corrective control? We said a door prevents an intruder from coming to your house. Um, then we have the camera to detect if there's an intruder. Then we said insurance can potentially correct, right? It will give us recourse back after there's an incident. Then we went further to say, okay, outside of that, we said, okay, we will hear things like the cloud. We said different types of cloud out there, hybrid, private, public cloud. Then we went further again to talk about network being connectivity of multiple devices. And we said, gone are the days where we are looking for some huge drive to exfiltrate or steal data. Now we are talking of tiny flash drive that can actually take terabytes of data out. So this is a big risk right now. So we went further to say, okay, at the end of the day, cyber is about confidentiality, integrity, and availability, then non-repudiation. We said, let me quickly, let's do a quick quiz just to kind of refresh us real quick. If you don't mind, just type chat real quick. So if I ask you in those four key areas, confidentiality, integrity, availability, and non-repudiation, which of them ensures that no one can deny they were the ones that access a file? Which of them applies? Go ahead and type. All right, non-repudiation. Okay. What about if I am working on a file? Which of them ensures that if there was a change in the data point, that we can know if there's a change in data integrity? All right, I agree with that. What about if I am protecting, information that are proprietary to us or that are important to the organization? Confidentiality. What about if I am, in the support business and I want to make sure there's no downtime at any point in time, at any in our business? Okay. So those are the core areas in cyber. And I'll tell you this, it doesn't matter where you are. If you have that conversation and you tell people that, hey, I want to ensure the confidentiality, the integrity, the availability, and non-reputation of our data, people know that you get it because that's the foundation of everything we're doing anyway. Then we went further to say, okay, at the end of the day, we also have to think about some basic key foundation in any environment. We said, okay, let's go back home. I'll keep going back home. Then we'll talk about our core use case. Home is going to be that your home network, wherever you're calling in from. For all of us, don't overcomplicate it. Really, it's not complicated. Let's go home. Wherever you are at home, we all have access to internet. We are saying let's protect it. We're going to keep that. The enterprise we're going to use is the story of a hospital system that just installed CT scan, MRI, X-ray machine, and robotic within the hospital. That's going to be our enterprise case we'll keep using. The local case will be our home network. That's it. We'll stick to that. That's going to be our guide in this program because it's the same thing that applies to any industry. It doesn't matter whether it's financial, healthcare, insurance, tech, telecom. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. So we'll stick to our own use case because it makes it crystal clear in our mind, and I can apply it to any industry. It doesn't really matter, really. So let's go back to our home again. At the home level, we said we need to think about how do we manage our assets. I know you're thinking, okay, well, I'm at home. What asset do I have? I just have my laptop. Okay, pause. You connect the home ring to the internet. You connect your garage to the internet. You connect your fridge to the internet. You connect your TV to the internet. You connect your mobile phone, your iPad, kid's phone. Everything is connected to the internet. So it's fair to say those are your assets. Then you have your hardware, the softwares that you are installing, and the data. Those are your core assets in your home environment right now, right? So they are critical because at the end of the day, God forbid if there's a burglar that comes to your home and take your laptop, the first thing the police will ask is, "Sir, ma'am, what was stolen?" Imagine you and I coming and saying, "Well, we have no idea, but we think something was stolen." Then that would make us really, it would be awkward because the cop will not be able to really figure it out that, okay, all right, no problem. You're probably stressed out of the fact that you were just robbed. So relax. When you've come back from the concussion on your brain, come back and tell us what was stolen, right? Because if not, they can't do anything really. The same thing for organization, believe it or not. And I'll tell you, a lot of companies struggle with this. A lot. And you can see why. Even I, right? Sometimes you realize that, wait a minute, two I have two devices on my network that I'm not even aware is still connected. An old phone you kind of trashed out there. It's in your house, but it's somewhere, but it's connected to the network. Oh, an old printer that is in your kid's room. Oh, it's still connected. Some guests that still had access to your phone, to your network, it's still connected, right? So you have a lot of things that you'll be surprised. So can you imagine organizations that are 500, 1,000, 3,000, 10,000, 50,000? It's a lot to track the devices in the environment. It's a lot. I mean, if we cannot even track all the devices in your home, so you can imagine, yeah, somebody has 250K, some company has 250, maybe the likes of Walmart, Global, Exxon, all those big companies, they might have 200 plus employees all over the world. That's a lot. So you can imagine, for God's sake. And, most of them would have to even, I believe every 5 years, they change their laptop, okay, JP Morgan, So you can imagine it's a lot. So you can see why it's hard. So it means, we said earlier on, remember, a small flash drive like this can be used to steal data. Now I have 250,000 devices to worry about. Can you imagine? Can you just comprehend that? Even my factory workers will still log on to the network to check their payroll and benefits somehow. So maybe they're checking it on their phone. However, they are checking it, they are still checking. So it means we have to still factor in how they access data too, right? At the end of the day. Then we went further to say, okay, we figured our asset out. It means those assets, they would have owners who owns the asset. It means we would have to have IP address of those uh, assets, unique identification for those assets, right? So we've agreed on that we should track the asset. Then we said, okay, let's figure out how do we check for vulnerabilities on those assets. Most of the breaches that happens through somebody clicking malicious email attachment that has been attached to an asset, a laptop, a desktop, a phone, whatever it is, right? So it means we still need to track those assets. So it means we have to do vulnerability scan. So we talk about vulnerability management. Okay, how often do we have to scan for vulnerability within your program? We talk about CVSS and CVE. Which of them gives us a score of 1 to 10? CVSS versus CVE. Which one? Let's go. Which one is score of 1 to 10? CVSS. And don't overthink it. It's just, a scoring system. 1 is bad, 10 is 1 to 10. Yeah, 10 is 1 is bad, 10 is high. Then which one of them is like a unique identification? CV. All right. So it will have a numbering to show, okay, this is the unique identification for that vulnerability. So if you have a malware, a virus that has been identified, it will attach a unique number to it so that anyone can go track it all over the world. That's really what it is. Okay. So don't stress it. Okay. Then we went further to say, okay, at the end of all this big talk, we also have to think of identity access management. And let's talk real quick. If I talk about access management, what comes to your mind? Let's quickly type IAM, identity access management. What comes to your mind real quick? If we talk about IAM, access, yes. What are we thinking again? Access control, yes, access, managing accessibility, roles. I love that. Deprovisioning and provisioning roles. MFA, multi-factor authentication. Thank you, Aris. Okay, authentication. That's a big one. SSO, single sign-on. Thank you, Fioma. Permissions. Yes, sham shading. That's a big one also. MFA, Juliet. Role-based access. Thank you, Femi. That's a big one too. Authentication. Yes, yes. Those are big, big ones. The password management. That's good. Binga. Oh man. Yeah, password management. Those are big, big parts of the puzzle. And believe it or not, this will be your story going forward. You'll be hearing a lot of, oh, role-based access, access management. It's the same thing, really, because I don't know what other name I will call password, right? It's password. There's no, I don't know, there's no other fancy name. We can spin it and say, oh, now we're using passphrase, but it's still going to be under the bucket of password management. Okay, I like this talk, but this is a good one too. Onboarding and offboarding. That's a big one, or provisioning and deprovisioning. Yeah, sometimes we call it interchange it. Onboarding, offboarding, provisioning, deprovisioning. So at the end of the day, how do you onboard people to gain access to your system? Then how do you remove them from the system also? Okay. All right, good job. Man, I love it. You guys are you're paying attention. Love it, love it. Okay. All right. Then the final one we talked about was we also went further to say at the end of the day, you have to also think of, oh, sorry if I said that. I like what Ari said. He said, and login. This is very important to really think about it, everybody. Or we can say access review or log review. So sometimes as part of IAM, you want to also monitor access, meaning you will hear access review. It means as a manager or an admin or whatever role is this determined to oversee access, there will be a time we expect you to review access. And reviewing does not mean you're going to stay there forever. All you're doing is, let me see all the people that have super user access. Are the names familiar to me? I already know who they are. Maybe like 5 people in my organization. So I look at them. Oh, okay, are these same 5 people? We're good. Is there anything that looks awkward? And I'll sign up on it and say we are good. That's really what it is. Okay. So it's not some crazy complex thing. So, but that's a good point. Access review or login. Okay. All right. Good job. Good job. Okay. The other thing we sneaked in also was we also talked about um, threat intelligence. And there are two key words I made sure we talked about. I said ingress and ingress will be things you'll be hearing. And when we talk about threat intelligence, thank you, Anna, you'll be thinking of in your mind that, okay, how do we capture data coming in and data coming out and use that to map intelligence and understand threats? And ladies and gentlemen, the thing is this, there are so many tools used for this. So don't stress it. Too much tools. I think some of you remember a few days ago, I was in RSA conference, the biggest in cyber in the world in San Francisco. And I'll tell you, it's the same at the point, you get to a point, if you have, let's say you have almost easily, I'm guesstimating, easily 300 to 500 vendors all around, right? There's going to be a point when you're looking at different tools, going to one stand to the other, your eyes just get blurry because all of their reports now start looking the same in your eyes. That looks like I've seen this before, but it's because they look similar in terms of everybody is similar, really, because I'm sure they're using the same backend Tableau or backend OCG, any of these tools out there. I don't know, but you could tell that they all have something that is showing you reports on how they are tracking what's going on in your environment, the logs, what is coming in. So sometimes they track the firewall pattern, sometimes they track your window log, your Unix log, all of the logs coming to your environment, they track it. Now, I know what you're thinking. If you are new to tech, you might hear, what the heck is log? When we work, as you're speaking to me right now, Zoom is generating log of what's going on of this event right now. So Zoom can actually analyze the pattern and tell us in this event today, this is the way somebody is, the pitch. Okay, you know what? Let me show you guys something. Again, my guys, ladies, look, I'm not just a cyber guy, right? Anything I see relevant, I'll show you guys. So let me show you guys something real quick. Okay, maybe you guys have seen it before, maybe you've not, but let me show you something real quick. Um, we are big in AI in our community, in case you don't know. But I'll show you one too, so you can understand the mindset a little bit. Okay, let me quickly show you guys one tool real quick. 1 second. For those of us that have been part of our cyber AI community, you might have seen me use this, but it's an awesome tool. So I love to use it a lot. But let me show you guys something real quick, and hopefully you would appreciate my thinking along this line. It's a tool for measuring facial expression, for example. Let me see. Okay, this is, let's see if it works. Yes, that webcam. Oh, I see. Okay. You know what? Okay. I'll stop my video, then I'll share. You guys will see this tool real quick. All right, let me just show you guys something. And the reason I'm showing you is to make you understand everything we do is captured in logs, you know, logs, right?